biotech tycoon has been convicted of plotting the death of his business associate, all because he found out that his associate was planning on blowing the whistle to the FBI. All because this tycoon has been committing fraud for years. So let's dive into today's story. Let's try to figure out why this man would do something like this. The man I'm talking about is 42-year-old Serhat. I can't pronounce his last name, so I'm not even going to try. Serhat, he grew up in Turkey, where as a teenager, he actually created YouTube videos performing magic tricks. Now, I will say he was pretty good at this. After becoming an adult, he would move to the US, where he ended up charming his way over to Silicon Valley, as well as the healthcare field. He would create a company called InnoChain Bioscience, in which Serhat ended up becoming the founding member of it. Now, the company was listed on the NASDAQ for a valuation of $137 million, in which it was believed that Serhat owned majority of the shares of over $98 million. Now, on Serhat's social media page, it would show him mixing up with different celebrities such as Helen Mirren and Boy George. Now, at these mixers, he would brag about this company, how they create the cure for cancer, hepatitis, and HIV. Serhat would say that he has extensive medical training and a PhD from a university in Russia, but he's unlicensed to practice in the United States. But here's the thing though, he doesn't have extensive medical training, nor does he have a degree in all these miracle cures that his company say that they created of making the cure for HIV, cancer, and hepatitis weren't true at all. And his scam was working until one of his business associates named Gregory planned on blowing the whistle on him. And the reason why Gregory wanted to blow the whistle on him was because Serhat had made a bad oil deal with him. And Gregory, he wasn't going to let that slide because like all business people, he likes his money. Because here's the thing, Gregory knew everything about Serhat. Gregory would come to find out the reason why Serhat had left Turkey was because he wanted to start new, was because Serhat had committed fraud back in Turkey. Even though Serhat was arrested for that, he would flee the country while his trial was pending. And while he was in America, he would scam another Turkey man out of $1 million by telling that he had bought some real estate over in Los Angeles and needed the money to renovate this house. But here's the thing though, he wasn't using the money to renovate a house. He would use the money for his own personal reasons. Gregory, he wasn't like that. He told Serhat to either give him his money from that bad oil deal that they had, or he's going to report him to the FBI about his healthcare scandal. Serhat, he was the type of person that bent the threats, and so he came up with a plan to unalive Gregory. So Serhat asked one of his co-workers, let's call him Burke, if he knew a guy that can hire a hitman, in which Burke replied saying that he knew a guy that may know a guy. So Burke would contact one of his buddies, let's go and call him Aaron, in which Aaron would then contact his buddy Jerry.
Somebody told me I was looking for somebody to help you out with some business.
Yep.
Well, are you a businessman?
Yeah. Motherfucker Jones.
How's that?
Motherfucker Jones.
Your first name is Motherfucker?
Last name Jones. You got a problem with that?
Everything would change on January 6th of 2018. Over in Danville, Vermont, Gregory was spending time with his wife and his 6 kids. And yes, he did have 6 kids. That night, he would hear a knock on his door. When he went to go answer, he found a U.S. Marshal at his doorstep. So the U.S. Marshal would tell Gregory that he needs to come with him to answer some questions. Now, some people say that that's more of a setup because police officers don't come to people's houses in the middle of the night to question them. But in actuality, they do that a lot. Because here's the thing though, the reason why police always come in the middle of the night to come question people, because it gives you less time to prepare yourself. Even if you was to use the 5th Amendment and request a lawyer, by being there in the middle of the night, it would take a lot longer to get a lawyer out there than it would be in the daytime. For educational purposes, if a law enforcement officer asks you to come into the police station for questioning, never go there without a lawyer. Trust me, when they say anything you say can be used against you, they really mean it. So always go with a lawyer and always go at a time that's more convenient for you. After the U.S. Marshal would ask Gregory to come down for questioning, Gregory will agree and go with him. And Gregory's wife became concerned because he never returned home afterwards and he stopped responding to all phone calls and text messages. So after she reported him missing, he was found not far from his house on a snowbank, shot to death. Police trying to figure out what happened to Gregory. They would go through his emails and text messages, but they found that there was a feud between him and Serhat. The Danville, Vermont Police Department would go ahead and request the help of the FBI, in which the FBI would go ahead and start questioning Serhat. Serhat would tell the FBI that he knew nothing about the death of Gregory. Even when the FBI showed him the emails and text messages about the feud that was going on between the two of them, he still denied that anything happened. The FBI would leave, but one thing that Serhat wasn't banking on was that the FBI was planning on going through his bank records, emails, and text messages. The FBI had found text messages and emails between Serhat, Burke, Aaron, and Jerry that links into the death of Gregory. While going through Serhat's bank records, they have found that Serhat has sent Burke over $150,000 between the month of June through October of 2017. Burke was withdrawing cash in increments of $1,000 to $9,000, which is below the $10,000 currency report requirement. So with all this information, the FBI would go ahead and arrest all four men. Aaron was the first person to crack under the pressure because he would go ahead and confess to his role, as well as to agree to testify against everybody else. On June of 2023, Jerry, who was the hitman and the one that pulled the trigger, will go ahead and plead guilty to murder for hire, money laundering, and conspiracy to kidnap. Serhat, he was denied bail after he was arrested because the prosecutors felt that because he was a wealthy foreigner, he was too much of a flight risk, in which the judge would agree to that, and so they would detain him until his trial. After his arrest, Chain's bioscience stock would drop dramatically, where it's pretty much almost worthless. As of now, Serhat was convicted of conspiracy of murder for hire. He's looking at serving life in prison without parole. It would seem that the typology that Serhat falls under is known as resource protection. And the reason he falls under resource protection is that even though he was committing fraud, he would lose everything if anybody found out the truth about what he was doing. So in order to keep from losing millions, he had to keep Gregory silent. Do you feel that people need to be more aware of who they invest their money to? Go ahead and leave your comments down below. And if you like more forensic analysis of cases like this, go ahead and stay tuned for more videos to come. So until next time.